How did men who face death daily feel more at peace than we do scrolling our phones? We live in an age of comfort, yet our hearts race at emails, messages, and silent expectations. Most men today don't face swords or storms, but they wake up every day to quieter battles. Fear of failure, fear of being unseen, fear of never being enough. Now picture this, a Viking standing on the prow of his ship. The wind howls, waves crash against the hull, and the horizon burns red with dawn. He wears no armor, only a wolfskin cloak. Behind him, his brothers chant low, not in anger, but in calm unity. In moments, they'll charge into battle, fully aware they might die, and yet his eyes are steady. There's no panic, no noise, just peace. What did they understand that we've forgotten? The Vikings didn't chase fearlessness, they mastered fear itself. They lived by 3 rules that turned ordinary men into legends. Rules that can still rebuild courage, one quiet choice at a time. Their secret wasn't in muscle or rage. It was in 3 simple rules that made courage a way of life. Rule number 1, fear is a compass, not an enemy. The bravest Vikings weren't fearless, they just knew what fear was for. Fear was never their enemy. It was a whisper before the storm, a compass pointing toward what truly mattered. Before every raid, before every decision they could end in blood or glory, a Viking felt that same tightening in his chest that you and I feel today, before a hard conversation, a career risk, or a moment of truth. Bjorn Ironside was young when he stood on the edge of his first sea raid. The sky was gray, and the air carried the scent of iron and salt. His hand shook as he gripped his axe. He could hear his heartbeat faster than the waves slapping the hull. He wasn't fearless, he was terrified. But instead of fighting the fear, he breathed it in and let it sharpen him. His senses heightened, his mind cleared. That trembling turned into power, like a bowstring pulled tight before release. When the battle came, he moved not with rage, but with focus. Modern science tells us the same truth the Vikings lived by. Fear is not failure, it's fuel. The adrenaline that surges through us in moments of stress isn't meant to paralyze, it's designed to prepare. It increases oxygen, sharpens awareness, and narrows attention to what truly matters. The problem isn't fear itself, it's how we interpret it. Most men today suppress fear, pretending it doesn't exist. We drink, scroll, work longer hours, all to silence that inner pulse. But when we bury fear, we also bury the wisdom it carries. The Vikings didn't silence fear, they listened to it. To them, fear said, "This is where you grow." Courage, then, isn't about feeling nothing. It's about feeling everything and still choosing to act. That moment before you speak your truth, before you take the risk, before you step into uncertainty, that's your modern battlefield. And your fear is the signal that you're standing on sacred ground, the edge between who you are and who you could become. The Vikings taught us, when fear rises, look it in the eye. It's not warning you to retreat, it's guiding you forward. Next time you feel that pulse in your chest, don't run from it. Ask what it's pointing you toward. Is it courage waiting to be claimed? A path you've avoided for too long? A truth you need to speak? Bjorn learned that fear wasn't a curse. It was the voice of life reminding him he was still alive. And when he listened, fear became focus, hesitation turned into clarity, and trembling became strength. Because courage isn't born from comfort. It's forged in the quiet moments when fear knocks and you decide to open the door. But courage isn't just about facing fear. It's also about where you place your loyalty. Rule number 2, stand for your circle. A Viking who fought alone was a dead man. Courage came from the shield wall. In battle, a Viking's strength wasn't just in his arm or his axe, it was in the brother beside him. Each man's shield overlapped with the next, forming an unbreakable wall of wood, iron, and loyalty. Behind that line, they didn't just defend themselves, they defended each other. Ragnar was one of those men. In the chaos of a raid, smoke filled the sky and flames swallowed the wooden hall they had stormed. As his crew retreated, Ragnar heard a cry, one of his brothers trapped beneath a burning beam. The smart choice, the safe choice, would have been to keep running. But Ragnar turned back. He dropped his shield, lifted the beam with blistered hands, and dragged his brother free. His arms were scorched, his breath ragged, but his brother lived. That act, simple, instinctive, made Ragnar legendary. Not because he won a battle, but because he refused to let his circle fall.
The Vikings understood something we've forgotten. Courage isn't a solo pursuit. It's born in connection, in knowing someone has your back, and you have theirs. They called it the shield wall mindset. Each man drew strength not from pride, but from purpose, from fighting for something larger than himself. In modern life, our battles are quieter, but just as heavy. Most men today fight alone, behind screens, behind smiles, behind the armor of "I'm fine." Isolation, once a punishment, has become a lifestyle, and it's killing our courage. When no one stands beside you, fear multiplies. But when someone says, "I'm here, we face this together," something ancient awakens, that same calm fire the Vikings knew. Science backs this truth. Studies show that when people face risk together, whether soldiers, firefighters, or even close friends, their brains release oxytocin, the trust hormone. It softens fear, strengthens resolve, and deepens connection. In short, courage is social. We were never meant to fight our fears alone. Maybe your shield wall isn't made of wood and iron. Maybe it's a few men who remind you who you are when life tests you. The ones who challenge your excuses, call out your potential, and stay when it's messy. These are the brothers who make you brave, not by making you harder, but by helping you stand taller. So here's a small act of courage for today. Text one friend, not to chat, not to joke, but to say, "I've got your back." That simple message can do more than any speech about bravery. It rebuilds the invisible wall between you, one shield, one word at a time. Because when you stand for your circle, your courage multiplies. You stop living only for yourself and start fighting for something sacred. Trust, loyalty, and love that doesn't waver when life burns around you. But even brotherhood can't protect you if you betray your own code. Rule number 3, honor is your anchor. When storms hit, muscle fails. Only honor keeps you standing. For the Vikings, courage wasn't just about strength or survival. It was about the invisible code that held their souls steady. They called it honor. It wasn't about pride or reputation. It was the promise to live by truth, even when no one was watching. Leif Erikson, the explorer who crossed unknown seas, once faced a test that had nothing to do with storms or swords. After discovering new lands, he was offered immense wealth and recognition on one condition: that he break a promise made to his crew. They had agreed that whatever riches they found would be shared equally. But his sponsors back in Greenland demanded more, arguing that he had earned the lion's share as captain. Leif refused. He kept his word. He turned down gold and power, choosing instead the weight of integrity. And because of that, when he called men to sail into the fog toward an unmapped horizon, they followed without question. They trusted him, not because he was fearless, but because he was true. That's the heart of Viking courage, a code that anchored them when chaos rose around them. They fought not for conquest alone, but to live rightly, to uphold their word and to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. We live far from their battlefields now, but the storms haven't stopped. They've just changed form. Today, the battles are fought in meetings, in relationships, in the quiet spaces of our minds. It takes courage to tell the truth when a lie would make life easier. It takes strength to stay faithful when no one is watching. It takes honor to keep your word when comfort tempts you to break it. The Viking code of courage was simple, yet unbreakable. Act with integrity, even when it costs. Speak truth, even when it shakes your voice. Protect the weak, because real strength defends, not destroys. They believed that a man's worth wasn't measured by victory, but how he faced loss. If he lost with honor, he still won. Modern courage doesn't demand swords or shields. It demands conscience. It's the quiet voice that says, do what's right, not what's easy. When you live by that, fear loses its grip, because when your anchor is honor, no storm can pull you completely under. So here's your challenge. Pick one promise you've been avoiding and fulfill it this week. Whether it's a commitment to someone else or to yourself, let that act remind you who you are. Honor isn't built in grand gestures, it's forged in small, consistent acts of truth. And when you do, you'll notice something shift. You'll walk differently, speak differently. You'll feel that deep steadiness, the same kind of strength that once stood on the decks of Viking ships, facing the unknown without flinching. Because when fear, loyalty, and honor unite, something ancient awakens in us. You don't need a sword to be brave, just a heart that refuses to kneel. The Vikings faced storms and steel. You face deadlines, disappointments, and the quiet war within. But the call is the same. Stand your ground. Fear isn't your enemy. It's the compass that points you toward what truly matters. Brotherhood gives you strength. No man stands tall alone. Find your circle and guard it well. And honor keeps you steady. The quiet anchor that holds firm when life tests your truth. You won't need to sail across oceans to live courageously. It happens in ordinary moments. When you speak honestly, when you keep your promise, when you choose to rise instead of retreat. Those are your modern battles. And each time you win them, a piece of the Viking spirit awakens within you. Picture it. A man walking into the morning light. No armor, no shield, just a steady gaze, a quiet resolve. The world around him rushes, doubts, complains, but he moves forward anyway. That's what courage looks like today. Calm, grounded, unshakable. Because the world doesn't need louder men. It needs steadier ones. Men who don't chase glory, but live by grace. Men who carry strength not on their shoulders, but in their hearts. So be the modern Viking. Face your fear. Protect your circle. Keep your word. And if this message stirred something in you, share it. Somewhere another man is waiting to remember his own courage.